Hi, my name is Carrie, and today I will be presenting my Journal Club article. So, the title of my article is Helmets for Patients in the ICU. So, here are some of the key terms that are critical in understanding my presentation. So, the first term is ARDS, which stands for Acute Respiratory Distress Syndrome. And the people with this, the people in this condition have fluid filled up in their alveoli, which cause a deprivation of oxygen in their body. And this could be very dangerous because we need oxygen to survive. And then the second term that would be intubation. And this is basically the way of treating ARDS. And then, so the traditional method, the invasive method, is basically putting this flexible plastic tube into your trachea, and then in order to keep your airways open. And so these are the usually the ways of treating ARDS. But nowadays, we have been using NPPV, which stands for non-invasive ventilation, and currently there are two types. The first type would be NPPV, a facial mask, and then another type would be the NPPV helmet. So, as you can see, the NPPV is non-invasive, which means that it will cause less physical damage to the patient, and that would be one of its benefits. However, there are several problems with NPPV mask method. So what they do is that they put a mask on the patient, and then the mask have to be sealed very tight. So a lot of the patients have reported that method is very uncomfortable. And another problem with the mask is that because the pressure inside the mask is so high, so a lot of air actually leak out. So why is this study being done? Excuse me. So why is this study being done? Of course. So in the past, studies have not yet demonstrated the efficacy of NPPV ventilation methods, and also we are not exactly sure of the patient's satisfaction with NPPV. And why should I care? So there are a lot of people admitted into the ICU every year, and there are a lot of patients that has ARDS. So in order to keep these patients with ARDS in the ICU alive, it is important to know what is exactly the best way to treat the patients with ARDS. So their hypothesis is that the NPPV helmet method is more effective than the NPPV mask method in treating ARDS. So what they did, their methods was that they took 83 patients, and then these patients have already been treated with NPPV mask for 8 hours, and then they were randomized into two groups. One of the groups had to keep going with the mask NPPV method, and the other group had helmet NPPV method. And so the results were, for the people that were in the helmet group, their respiratory rate was 24.5 versus 29.1. And then the regular respiratory rate for an adult is about 12 to 20, which means that the helmet group is better in this aspect. And then also the for the days that they stayed in the ICU, the helmet group stayed in the ICU for an average of 4.7 days, And then for the mask group, these people stayed in the ICU for about 7.8 days, which means that, so in this case, the helmet group won again, because the patients in this group stayed in the ICU for a less amount of time. And then finally, these patients were less likely to die in 90 days. So, as you can see, the patients in, MPPV helmet is a better method in treating ARDS, and it's better at keeping people alive in the ICU. So, the conclusions is that, obviously, the helmets are better. And then, so the implications is that, so in the future, when doctors are treating people with ARDS and putting them into the ICU, it is better to recommend the MPPV helmet method instead of the MPPV mask method. And then some of the flaws with the study. So there were only 83 people in the study, so there's not a whole lot of people in the study. And then also their gender and age were not specified. So in order to solve these flaws, some future studies could be done. And a good idea would be a multi-center trial with a lot of people, and then that would solve a lot of the flaws in this study. So, thank you for listening!